Good evening and welcome to another SRL Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series race. Today we're going to Japan to Mobility Resort Motegi, formerly known as Twin Ring Motegi, for a 150 lap race for race number 5 of the SRL Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series. Here we got about 20 or so cars on track on a steaming hot day here in Motegi, Japan. Pulling up the weather real quick. We got 81 degrees out, partly cloudy, winds blowing westward about 3 miles per hour. And it says partly cloudy out, but drivers have been saying that the track temp is reaching upwards of 130 degrees. And anyone who has driven on 130 degrees of track temperature knows that the hotter the track gets, the slicker it will be. So definitely here for a very interesting race. Looking currently at Connor Zola in the number 13 here. Don't know how he did in practice, because I wasn't really paying attention to him during practice, but current practice leader was the number 2 of Van Drummond, who did pretty well at Portland last week. Looking to follow up his good result with another good result here at Motegi. But Connor Zola coming to his first lap, running the bottom. Turns 1 and 2 are a little bit wider radius than turns 3 and 4. It's much like Darlington, but a lot wider and not as banked. But coming here for the second time, I believe, in SRL history. Went here last season and had a good race. Connor Zola running a little bit high in turns 3 and 4. Gonna try to get a good run off the corner. Coming to his flying lap right now. Two laps of qualifying, and as of right now, Connor Zola, one of the faster drivers on the track. So let's see if he can back it up with a good flying lap to his first lap. Kept it very tidy through 1 and 2. Coming into 3 and 4, no sliding, running a little bit higher than normal, but he can cut it down since he has fresh tires. And that's a pretty solid. I was just about to say that was a pretty solid lap, but I think he got on the gas just a little bit too early. And slid coming out. Best lap was a 38.1 for Connor Zola, but currently pole is Cole Denton with a 37.736, 2 very fast laps. For that 46 car who won his first race in SRL at Portland. Sean Rowe on his flying lap in that number 99. I believe he came home second at Portland last week. Looking to follow up on that with some good momentum. To the pole goes Van Drummond in the number 2, a 37.515. 0.2 faster than Cole Denton, and Van Drummond is on top of his game right now as he's getting more laps done. As that pole lap it was actually his first lap. He just said an even faster lap, a 37.478 for the driver of the number 2 car, Van Drummond, showing very promising speed as of right now. Peyton Howell coming to the line. He's going to set a 37.493 and move himself into second place. So Peyton Howell and Van Drummond, 2 very fast-looking cars. Only Van Drummond and Peyton Howell have dropped below the 37.5 bracket. Third place is currently the 67 of Jacob Malone, with a 37.6, setting his flying lap. He will go up to third, and he will be at a 37.497 So very close times between the top three. Only about 2 hundredths of a second separating first and third, and then it kind of falls off by about 2 tenths to fourth place, Sean Rowe. And qualifying has just ended, so we can look at your starting lineup. Starting on pole is the number 2 of Van Drummond. On his outside is the number 52 of Peyton Howell. Let me set this up real quick. Starting inside of row number 2 is the number 67 of Jacob Malone. On his outside is the number 99 of Sean Rowe. Inside of row number 3 is the 46 of Cole Denton, and on his outside is the number 77 of Tyler J. Curley. Inside of row number 4, 00 of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Impressed up Portland, looking to follow up on a good result here at Motegi. On his outside is the number 79 of Barrett Bohemus. Inside of row number 5 is the number 76 of Caleb McKinney. And on the outside of row number 5, rounding out the top 10, is the number 24 of Joey Beck. First driver outside the top 10, starting on the inside of row number 6, is the number 26 of Blaine Edwards. And on his outside is the number 72 of Jordan Herring. Inside of row number 7 is the number 28 of Joseph Lewis. And his outside is the number 13 of Connor Zola. Quincy Strawhacker is on the inside of row number 8 with Nicholas Martinez Jr. and the number 48 on his outside. Inside of row number 9 is the 54 of Trevor Huff with a Justin Rott in the 25 on his outside. Inside of row number 10 is the 65 of Ben T. Pierce. And rounding out your top 20, the number 96 of James Thurston, looking to claw his way through the field. First driver outside of the top 20 is the number 20 of James Bomar, starting on the inside of row 11. On his outside is the number 92 of Adam Contreras. And rounding out the field is going to be the 63 of Henry Kaloff, and then the 68 of Alex G. Schumacher, who is the league owner of the Schumacher Racing League. But now that that is out of the way, just making sure my trading paints is working. And it seems like we have a few people who are not gridding. James Thurston, Adam Contreras, and Alex G. Schumacher have not gridded for this race, so we might have a 21 car event doing 125 laps here around this 1.49 mile track here at Motegi. Van Drummond going to lead the way. They all have to go at the same time on the drop of the green flag, so it should be a pretty even start unless Payne Howell falls asleep at the wheel. But going to be interesting to see how Jacob Malone handles this. I believe this is his first ever race in the Schumacher Racing League. So it's going to be interesting. But pace car is in. We're about to go green. Green flag is out here at Motegi, and Malone gets turned around. Cars are all sideways. Curley goes around right in front of Connor Zola. Oh, big stack them up all on lap number 1. Oh, goodness me. I don't even know what happened. There's a car upside down. And that was Joseph Lewis upside down. Only about 10 feet past the start-finish line. Let's get a replay on that real quick. As well, you hate to see that happen, is all I can say. Trying to get a decent camera angle for this. Okay. Going to the green flag, looking at the 67 of Jacob Malone. tries to get a good start and just spins the tires right into Sean Rowe. Tyler Curley goes around, and Joseph Lewis just rockets over the side of the 67.
Oh my god. I was trying to hold on sides.
Yeah, I just ramped over the left rear of the 67 and ends up on his roof. Unfortunate for the driver of that 28. But multiple cars receiving meatball flags already. Caleb McKinney, and that's points leader Bladen Edwards already with a meatball about 10 feet past the starting line. As that is certainly going to be talked about.
Damn, they done hit Mike with the laser beam too.
Yes, Bladen Edwards with that jacked up right front tire is interesting to see if he'll try to pull back out once damages get repaired, or if that might be the end for him. Because in iRacing with the Cup cars, you can definitely DNF from a race. It's more than possible, but I think Bladen Edwards is just going to try to salvage what he can. But yeah, it just seems like Jacob Malone was just not prepared for the track to be as hot as it was, and I don't know if he downshifted or something or started in the wrong gear, but that car just shot sideways. So, under caution for the first time on lap 1. Joseph Lewis already 2 laps down after unfortunately flipping over. But pace car lights are off, so we are going green next time by. The field a little bit spread out here. Waiting for everyone in pit lane to get back to the field. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Maybe the damage will cause more strung out racing and less need for restarts. But our first restart is coming on lap 4, coming to lap 5, and Peyton Howell is able to get ahead of Van Drummond before the caution came out. So he's going to be on the inside. He's going to be the control car for this. And drivers have said that it will be tough to pass here with the track temperature being so hot, because this track doesn't really have progressive banking or anything like that to incentivize a higher line. So it's mostly a bottom running track, but pace car is in pit lane coming into the restart zone, and green flag is out. Good start by Peyton Howell over Van Drummond. That inside line just got a better start overall. No one spins the tires this time by, and we are able to get into turn 1 without many issues. Peyton Howell able to clear Van Drummond entering the corner as they are going 3 wide in turn 2. Martinez Jr. and Bomar scrapes the wall a little bit. Staying on the outside of Martinez. Barrett Bohemus trying to get to the inside of Sean Rowe. Sean Rowe running a little bit higher up, giving Bohemus the room. And he might have a good run out of the corner if he can stay side by side with Sean Rowe. I think Sean Rowe might have him cleared entering turn 1. No, he doesn't. Sean Rowe having to capitulate to the 79 and able to slot right in front of that 24 car of Joey Beck, with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer right behind him as well. And looks like Jurgensmeyer, I thought Jurgensmeyer was going to the inside of Beck, but Beck is looking to the outside of Sean Rowe. And will he be able to make it stick? I don't think he's going to get the drive off. And I don't know if he overshot the corner or was trying something. on the outside of Chandra, but now Jurgensmeyer on the inside of Jordan Herring for 7th place. Side by side for 7th place out of turn 2, about dead even. Herring's going to have the better run, but he does scrape the wall a little bit. Jurgensmeyer going to use the side drive to his advantage. Herring breaks earlier than Jurgensmeyer, gives him the line, and then big checkup from the 48 to not run into the back of the 72. Side by side behind them, Trevor Huff and Henry Califf were side by side for a second. And currently Peyton Howell is leading the way, setting the fastest laps, and he's right behind the lapped car of Tyler Curley, who was one of the first cars to go around in that lap 1 accident. Further back through the field, Jurgensmeyer all over the back end of right before he got into the right until he got into the corner, but mostly single file racing here. Herring with a great run off the corner, going to get to the inside of the 00. I think the 00 might have had a little bit of a bobble to get a little bit of a wider shot, and yeah, Jurgensmeyer lets the 72 have it. No need to fight him on lap number 9 to try and not shred your tires. But Peyton Howell gets around the 77 of Tyler J. Curley. I think Curley's just running around trying to get that damage that he got from the lap 1 accident fixed, as now Van Drummond has to work his way around the 77. Curley being a very very courteous lap car, giving lots of room, about a lane and a half wide, but still maintaining a reasonable pace, not being dangerously slow, as now it's Cole Denton's job to get around the 77, and Curley's going to let Denton have it into the corner. But the lead is growing for that 52 of Peyton Howell, as it's about 0.5 of a second between the two. Nicholas looks like in the back. Nicholas Martinez Jr. Might look into the inside of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Jurgensmeyer running a little bit higher up, giving Martinez a lot of room, but Jurgensmeyer is going to have a good run on exit if he doesn't slide the tires here. And yeah, he's going to have the better exit than Martinez. Martinez is going to have to slot behind the 00 in front of the 54. But mostly single file racing here. Whoa, big slide from the 48. I don't know if he gassed it up too much or what, but he shot up the track. Trevor Huff able to pounce and gain a position. And now with those really heated up tires from that big slide, Henry Califf is now looking to strike on that 48 of Martinez. Further up through the field, looking at Joey Beck, who I don't think has made a start this season in at number 24, as Barrett Bohemus now has to get around Tyler J. Curley, and Van Drummond is starting to catch up to Peyton Howell. The gap was about half a second, and now it has gone down to 2.5 tenths. And Bohemus running a little bit high on Curley out of the corner. I thought they were going to make contact for a second, and luckily they did not. Curley managing to stay out of the way of everyone. But further towards the front, Van Drummond trying to build up momentum to get to the back end of Peyton Howell. But as it stands right now, not able to be close enough to make any sort of move for that 2 car. He wants revenge for Portland, as he thought that he was kind of robbed out of a win by the halfway caution, which is a very plausible sentiment if you're the leader and you led most of the laps coming up to the halfway caution and then you don't win the race. But that's a story for another day. But staying very consistent, not sliding the car at all, and knows the limits of what he can do here at Motegi, but staying a solid 2 to 3 tenths behind Payne Howell, still well within the draft distance of this car. Going back through the field, James Bomar is trying to look for a way around the 23 of Quincy Strawhacker. Gets up to about 1/10 difference, but then falls back. It's a little group of cars back here between 9th and 11th here. Nicholas Martinez Jr., Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, and Henry Kaloff. All three of these cars maybe trying to save their stuff as much as possible and not try to push it too hard. Jurgensmeyer seems to have only slid back during this race. I believe that he started in like 7th or something, and now he's back to 10th. So not a great start for the driver of that 00 car, as Bomar is, I believe he's trying to build a run to get around the 23, but scraping the wall like that is not going to help. Further up through the field, Jordan Herring is going to try to get around the 77 of Tyler Curley. And Curley running the outside. He's running the outside to let people get by, and it's actually giving him better runs down the front stretch. Jordan Herring brakes to let Trevor Huff get by without too much hassle on the inside. But Herring with a great run, going to be able to keep it on the outside of Huff, using the draft from Tyler Curley into turn 1, but has to brake a little early. And Huff will retain he will take the position firmly from Jordan Herring. So Trevor Huff now up to 7th place right now. Did something happen with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, but it seems like he is just blinking. Apologize for the sudden cut. My timing board was going kind of crazy. But further up towards the front, Van Drummond still within about 2.5 tenths of Payne Howell, as everyone in the field is just clicking off laps right now. Besides that first lap accident, it's been a pretty uneventful race for these first 20 laps, and my timing calculator is telling me that it will take about 1 hour and 7 minutes to complete this race, if it goes flag to flag, or not flag to flag, if this goes green the rest of the way through. Back through the field, Joey Beck is all over the back end of the 99 of Sean Rowe. But it doesn't help when you scrape the wall a little bit, and I don't know if he damaged something on that 24. Was feeling out the car down the back stretch. Looks like nothing major, as it seems like he just scraped a little bit, but he went way down. So, as I think he just Alt F4'd from the session. So, interesting strategy from the 24. As I now have to reset the camera. But I guess he got wheel damage or something and just instantly Alt F4'd, as he just disappeared. So that's only what I can figure happened. But Van Drummond still 2.5 seconds. He gets to about 2 tenths with the draft of Peyton Howell down the backstretch, but then seems like he just kind of loses it the rest of the lap. So maybe he's just saving more and Peyton Howell is pushing it. But right now, Peyton Howell has this field under wraps. Currently, we have 13 cars on the lead lap. NASCAR on the lead lap right now is the 67 of Jacob Malone. He's all the way in the back because he had to serve a penalty for that lap 1 accident. But closest battle right now is between Jordan Herring and Trevor Huff. And that's about 3.5 tenths between the 54 and 72. Tyler Curley really sent into that corner and overshot it. I guess he missed his braking point because he went way up the track. Hopefully that didn't scare the 72 too much, seeing that 77 come real close in his mirror. That's going to allow Nicholas Martinez to catch up pretty quickly to the 77. Maybe attempt to make a move on him. But it does seem like passing, if you're blocking the inside, is going to be very difficult, as we haven't really seen any moves made on the outside. Any position gain has been from cars getting good runs down the backstretch, and then cars on the outside letting cars on the inside in. Yeah, but Tyler Curley is 4 laps down, and he just gained a position over Joey Beck, who at Ford. And surprisingly enough, Joseph Lewis is back on track with that damaged number 28 car. He flipped over. Tow truck got him righted, and he is still persevering and trying to get as much points as he can. You gotta respect it for the driver, the number 28. And if we get, I'd say, like 2 or 3 cautions back to back, Joseph Lewis is going to be back on the lead lap. And it says that James Bomar has pulled into pit lane, as he is getting tires on lap 26 out of 125. So that is the first driver on pit road making a stop. Looks like he's just going to try to use all his tires up, and he should be pretty fast, because these drivers' best laps are about a 38.2, and their current laps right now is averaging between a 37.5 and a 37.8. So big difference, or a big fall off after only 27 laps, mostly due to the track heat heating up the tires and making them wear quicker. But now James Bomar is 1 lap down here, or 2 laps down, as he is taking quite a while to get out of pit lane. Maybe he's parking. I don't know if he's parking it or what. I think he might be parking it, because he's been in pit lane for over a minute. So I think that James Bomar is just retiring that car. But we can never be too sure. And yep, he has just left the session. So James Bomar not too happy with this race. The field has mostly spread out here. We currently have 15 cars driving right now. And with James Bomar disconnecting, it really gives reason to why people like Joseph Lewis continue driving out with damage and multiple laps down, because if someone in front of you or someone on the lead lap has something happen to them and they disconnect or they wreck, that's a free spot without you really having to do anything. I mean, granted, 1 point is 1 point, but still, it does mean something in the grand scheme of things. But back to the front, it has been pretty much the status quo of two tenths behind Peyton Howell, but Van Drummond got a much better corner in 3 and 4 than Peyton Howell and really closed up the gap between them. About 1.5 tenths, and maybe Van Drummond has been saving his stuff behind that 52 as he's looking to the inside of the 52, not able to get a run just yet. This is the battle for the lead right here between Peyton Howell and Van Drummond. Van Drummond running a little bit higher up than Peyton Howell, but he cuts that car down. He's going to get a good run out of the corner. He might be able to get Peyton Howell into turn 1 here if he can execute a slingshot. Well, looks to the inside, has to back out early. Peyton Howell slams the door in his face. Peyton Howell wants to lead all of these laps, and it's going to be... And Van Drummond's going to have to work harder than that to get to the inside of Peyton Howell. And I think Drummond had to get out of the gas a little bit out of the corner, and that dropped him to about 3 tenths back instead of just 1.5. But what Van Drummond's successfully doing is applying pressure to that 52 car, making him burn up, as that's Cole Denton going around in the back. Will we have a caution for that? Yes, we will. Caution is out for the 46 of Cole Denton. Let's get a replay on that real quick, as that's a big shakeup. Looking at Cole Denton coming out of turn 4. Looks like he just got on the gas too much and locked it up. Yeah, and it's tough to save these next-gen cars. And he was going slow to where he could be a detriment. Good call by race control to throw the yellow flag, even if he didn't spin around. A slow car right on the exit of a corner is still a hazard. 2 cars going through the corner. So very proactive and good decision making by race control, but that's gonna group the field up, and everyone's probably gonna be coming down pit road for fresh Goodyear tires. As we're just over a quarter of the way through this race. Peyton Howell is going to lead the field into pit lane here. I don't think anyone is going to elect to stay out. Anyone who pit, well, actually, Baird Polhemus and Sean Rowe will probably stay out, since they came in on lap 31. I did not catch that. They came in on lap 31, so they're probably going to get the wave around. But looking at the leaders right now, and Henry Caloff stays out to lead a lap. But Peyton Howell and Van Drummond both get into their pit boxes. And we'll see who wins the race off of pit road. Both cars taking 4 tires. And Drummond is going to jump Howell in pit lane. It seems like he just got a better stop than the 52. And with Henry Caloff, if he decides to stay out, I don't think Sean Rowe is going to be too happy if Henry Caloff decides to stay out. But surely, with how quickly these tires fall off, I mean, a second within 20 laps. It's actually Sean Rowe got the lucky dog. So, but yep, Henry Caloff comes into pit lane. So it's going to be Van Drummond leading the field to the green this time by him. Both him and Peyton Howell choose the inside line. Trevor Huff, Nicholas Martinez Jr., I believe that's Juergensmeyer in the back, right behind the ticker. Yeah, it's Juergensmeyer choosing the outside line. The choose cone is definitely in effect. And that's what it was made for tracks where the inside line is the preferred line. Made for good strategy calls to let someone in fourth elect to choose if they want to be on the inside or outside instead of being locked to the outside. But it is going to be Van Drummond leading the field to the second restart of the race so far. A nice green flag run here that we had at excuse me, sorry, I yawned in the middle of that. In the here at Mobility Resort Motegi. A nice green flag run broken up by Cole Denton spinning around, but I don't think Denton got too much damage from that, as he's currently back in 8th position right now. But it's going to be Van Drummond leading Trevor Huff and the rest of this field. Green flag is out, and a good start by Van Drummond. The outside line did not get going that well. Side by side for second place. Juergensmeyer almost made it 3 wide for a second. Peyton Howell on the inside. He's going to get around the 54 of Trevor Huff. Jordan Herring up to 4th place if he can squeeze inside or squeeze up top, and he's not able to squeeze up top. Nicholas Martinez looking to go 3 on Herring and Huff. Huff having to go way up the track, and he's definitely going to get shuffled back as Martinez jumps to the bottom. But Martinez is not able to get the run off the corner. Juergensmeyer goes to the inside. Huff and Herring blocking each other down the track. Herring is going to have to take a suboptimal entry into turn 1 and 2. And will Huff try to use the bumper to get him loose on corner exit? No, he won't. And Herring is going to keep the spot. And now Martinez slings it to the outside of Trevor Huff. Will he be able to make the move work coming into turn 3? He might just be able to make it work. That inside line is going to have a resurgence through the exit of the corner. But I think Martinez might get it done with draft help from Herring, yeah. So Martinez up into the 4th position. And he's looking to the outside of Herring as both of them kind of overshoot the corner. Martinez is going to get a great drive off the corner. Will he try to make a run down the backstretch to the inside for the 3rd spot? Looks like he won't. So this battle not resolved just yet, but it has certainly simmered down as Herring gets a little loose. Big cloud over turns 3 and 4, providing more grip. But mostly single file here. No one trying to step out of line, except for maybe Martinez, who's looking to go on the outside with the cooler track temperature, trying to find the grip up there. He might get the drive off the corner if he can stay in the throttle. He's going to get to the quarter panel of the 72. He's to the outside of Jordan Herring, and he's going to have a great run down the backstretch. But now Herring is going to let him by. Great move by the 48 to get to 3rd place for just a moment, but he overshoots the corner, gets really tight. And he might actually lose the spot. So I was just about to say, a great move to go on the outside for Nicholas Martinez Jr., but he then overshoots the corner and erases all of that progress because he's now stuck behind Trevor Huff again. But behind them, Juergensmeyer and Cole Denton going side by side. Juergensmeyer with a great run off the corner to get around Cole Denton. He's going to move himself into the 7th position. As Martinez looking to the outside of Trevor Huff with a little bit of a checkup on the inside line. Huff got the drive off the corner. I thought Martinez was going to try to stick on his quarter panel. Did not happen. Huff was just barely clear enough as Cole Denton and Sean Rowe are blocking each other coming into turn 1. Cole Denton does not want Sean Rowe to have the inside, and now Barrett Bohemus looking to the outside of Sean Rowe. Now that he had to check up so much not to hit the back end of the 46, Sean Rowe has to give up the spot to Bohemus, moving him back to 10th spot. Bohemians running a little bit farther up than the rest of the cars here. A little bit of a wiggle from the 46 as a car hit the wall hard in the back. I believe that is Justin Rott in the 25. Yeah, Justin Rott hit the wall pretty hard back there. But Juergensmeyer now looking to the outside of Cole Denton. Side by side, the 00 and 46. And Juergensmeyer to 7th spot. Able to get around Denton. But Denton dives to the inside. Juergensmeyer giving him the room. But Denton had to enter much shallower than Juergensmeyer. A little bit of a slide from that 46, able to slot himself right in front of the 79 of Bohemus, but now Bohemus looks to the inside of Cole Denton. About dead even through the center of the corner. Denton's going to have the better drive off, and it looks like he'll, I was just about to say, it looks like he'll retain the position, but side drive from the 79 keeps him side by side, and now Bohemus with the preferred line entering the corner. Cole Denton drives it in hard to try and maintain the spot, and he might get a drive off the corner that allows him to get alongside Juergensmeyer. Bobble from Juergensmeyer, 3 wide for 7th place here, as Sean Rowe uses the top side to get around these, or to try and get around these 3. Gets around Juergensmeyer, and then Bohemus slides right in front of him. So Juergensmeyer, that one bobble on corner exit just cost him about two spots. And he's going to have to really grind to get that back, as Trevor Huff is slow. I don't know if he got loose and hit the wall or something, but Trevor Huff on the apron to go down pit lane. Let's see what happened real quick. Looking at Trevor Huff just going down pit lane. I don't know if he had a personal issue or something, like a technical problem, but yeah, he has to park it for something. So unfortunate for the driver of that 54, as he was having a very good race up to that point. Currently looking at Barrett Bohemus and Sean Rowe for the 7th spot. Bohemus is starting to catch the 46 of Cole Denton. The leader, Van Drummond, is currently about 0.8 of a second ahead of Peyton Howell. But Bohemus is steadily reeling in the 46 of Denton. Will he try to make a move coming into turn 1? He thought about it, but slotted back in line. Taking a little bit of a wider entry than Cole Denton, Bohemus is, and he might get a good drive out of the corner here to get to the inside coming into turn 3 and 4. Looks like that's not happening this lap. But still, this is the closest battle on track right now. Just 2/10 separating the 46 and 79. As a little bit of a bobble from the 46 I thought I saw. And Bohemus might be able to take advantage of that. Doesn't have the run down the front stretch and not able to capitalize off of that. And Bohemus is running a little bit higher than other drivers. Seems like 1 and 2 is going to be the hard place to pass with now that the sun's shining directly on it. But track conditions change all the time, and we still have about 48 laps of racing, or 48 minutes of racing left. If this goes green, Bohemus looking to the inside of the 46 coming into turn 1. Might be able to get it done. Denton drives in hard and is able to shut the door. Excuse me, right in front of the 79. Good defensive driving by the 46, but no doubt the 79 is making the 46 eat up his tires. Driving defensively like that. But Bohemus currently biding his time right now. As, yeah, that 46 is definitely struggling a little bit on corner exit of turn 4. But Cole Denton is also catching the 23 of Quincy Strawhacker for 5th spot. Strawhacker is the last car in the top 5. So a good showing by him thus far. As Denton gets a great drive into the corner. Strawhacker running pretty far up the track. And Denton might be able to make a move on him coming into turn 1 here. If he's aggressive enough. Looks like he's gonna, yeah, he's definitely gonna make a move side by side entering turn 1. That was a pretty late move, but all's fair. Maybe a little bit of side by side contact through the center of the corner, but Strawhacker is going to have the run out of the corner. Denton's gonna have to side draft that 23 car if he wants to keep them side by side entering turn 3. Ooh! Almost ran out of real estate right there, and Cole Denton had to get out of the gas as Strawhacker cut down on him. Denton not happy, giving Strawhacker a little bit of a shove out of the corner to show his displeasure. But now Denton goes to the inside of the 23. Side by side, Strawhacker trying to get back on the gas. He might be able to make a comeback, and no, he won't. Denton's able to clear the 23 of Strawhacker, and now Cole Denton is back within the top 5 of this race. But I don't think Strawhacker is going to give up very easily. I think he's going to try to catch the 46 as Martinez knocks down the wall a little bit out of 4. Seems like a car just slides coming out of 4, and you only go straight into that concrete wall. But now Barrett Bohemus is rapidly approaching the back end of that 23 car. So it seems like Strawhacker might have burned up his stuff more than the rest of this field. Because now, as the run goes on, we're about 20 laps into this run. Strawhacker's starting to fall back quickly, as Bohemus might try to make the move coming into turn 1 right here. Yes, he will, but he didn't act soon enough, and Strawhacker shuts the door. But Bohemus, with a great center corner speed, might be able... Oh, big bobble from the 23. A little bit of contact between the 23 and 79, but only person that really hurt was the 23, as he got really loose on exit, and I think he was trying to catch the car most way down the straight, as now Sean Rowe is looking to the inside of the 23. Side by side for the 7th spot, and Rowe is able to take the spot from Strawhacker for 7th. So Strawhacker started off strong this run, but seems like he burned up his stuff too quickly and is now just falling back into the clutches of the field. Further up the field, Nicholas Martinez Jr. has stayed about 2 to 3 tenths behind Jordan Herring. But Cole Denton is picking up speed quite considerably. He's pulled away from Bohemus and is starting to catch the 48 rather quickly. And speaking of someone who has picked up speed, Van Drummond is in his own zip code right now. You'd have to give him a new area code on a phone. How far ahead he's in front of Payne Howell. 2 seconds here, and then another 2 seconds back to Jordan Herring as Martinez slides. It almost hits the wall, able to catch it, but you'd imagine with how far he's tracking it out,
Caution, yellow flag.
he would burn his tires up, and that caution announcement kind of caught me by surprise. I believe it's due to Justin Rott, as he's going slow. Let me go on standby for just a second to see what happened. And yeah, Trevor Huff did disconnect from that event, or from this event, so that's very unfortunate. I don't know why he disconnected, but you hate to see a good car disconnect. So this is between Justin Rott and Adam Contreras, who is 34 laps down. It looks like Aladam, on fresher tires, thought that he could get to the inside of Rott and tagged his quarter panel. I'm sure it wasn't intentional, but at this rate, you're 34 laps down. I don't want to be that guy, but I kind of struggle to see the reasoning behind that. You kind of just bring out a caution for no reason. But yes, the caution did come out because of that. Oh, big hit from the 77 of Curly. Just to make a bad situation worse for Justin Rott. That's a lot of damage to the front of that 77 car. But coming down pit lane, everyone on the lead lap comes down pit lane. And we'll see if the reverse can happen from last caution, where Peyton Howell got jumped in pit lane. Coming into pit lane, a good entrance from both of them. And just about equal times, but Nicholas Martinez Jr. is able to jump ahead of Jordan Herring. So this essentially puts him in third place. So a good showing here by Martinez, able to get good pit stops here. As I believe we'll approach halfway when we go green. But now that we're under caution, let's see how the weather is right now. It's 81 degrees. Winds are now blowing easterly at 3 miles per hour, so it still remained hot here in Motegi. But Barrett Bohemus on 29 lap old tires is staying out, and he's going to choose the inside. Quincy Strawhacker and Henry Kaloff in a similar situation on 26 and 25 lap old tires, respectively, trying an alternate tire strategy here. If they get about 10 laps in and a caution comes out, it will certainly be sitting very pretty. But Barrett Bohemus is going to lead the field on 30 lap older tires than everyone else to the third restart of tonight's event right before halfway. Definitely going to be an interesting one. The top three all on very worn tires here on this very hot track. And everyone from Van Drummond and behind is on brand new tires. So tire strategy definitely in effect right now as we're about to go to lap 62. Barrett Bohemus and Quincy Strawhacker lead the way. Pace car lights are off. We're going green flag racing this time by. Pace car is in, and green flag is out. Good start by Bohemus, and not a great start on the outside by Strawhacker. Bohemus is able to clear up to Strawhacker. Van Drummond looking to the inside. Strawhacker blocks the inside line. He's going to be going much slower. Here comes Martinez. 3 wide in the back. Kaloff is in the sucker hole right now. On those old tires, he's stuck in the middle at the moment. Cars swarming around him. Van Drummond looking to get past Quincy Strawhacker. 3 wide back there as Kaloff drops like a rock through this field. Big wiggles from the 23 of Straw Hacker. Caution came out. I'm not exactly sure for what. Give me 1 second to see. Oh, I meant to go to standby. Sorry about that. To see what that was for, because I really don't know why the caution came out.
We still got 70 minutes.
So, yes, give me 1 second to see why the caution came out. Give me 1 second because I'm trying to figure out what caused the caution. I think it was a preemptive caution, because there was some fooling around. Justin Rott into the back end of Adam Contreras, and I think that there's a preemptive caution to discourage that. Of course, bad blood from these two after Contreras got into Justin Rott. So let's go back to the present. As Barrett Polhemus and Quincy Strawhacker both pull into pit lane, going to have marginally fresher tires, and that is Joseph Lewis coming around to take the waiver, or to take the lucky dog, actually. So I think this puts him only 1 lap down after flipping on lap 1. So if he gets another caution and there's no one else in front of him, he is going to be back on the lead lap. I mean, it's going to be tough when your car is pretty much destroyed from sliding down the front stretch. But hey, it's something. But we are past halfway here at Mobility Resort Motegi. Van Drummond is leading with Peyton Howell in second. What I haven't done in a while is a top 5 rundown. So your top 5 under caution right now is Van Drummond, Peyton Howell, Nicholas Martinez Jr., Sean Rell, and Cole Denton. Then past that, it is Jordan Herring, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, Barrett Polhemus, Quincy Strawhacker, and Henry Kaloff. Good showing from Nicholas Martinez Jr. in third. Very capable driver, but his aggressive moves have paid off thus far in this event. And I wouldn't be surprised if he chooses the outside line here, because he's been able to make it work. So Van Drummond chooses the outside, and he's going to be the control car. But if any of these, if Peyton Howell can get about an equal start with Van Drummond, he's going to have the preferred line. And as long as he can stay on the inside of Van Drummond going into turn 1, he is going to have the preferred line. So definitely a risky call from Van Drummond to choose the outside, because if he doesn't get a good start, it's really tough to do anything on the outside without burning up your tires really quickly. But like I said, Van Drummond is the control car in that white number 2. So he's going to be leading the field on the outside as we have passed halfway. Pace car lights are off, waiting to go green. Base car is in. Field get into the restart zone. Green flag is out. And I think, Van Drummond able to clear to the bottom. And Nicholas Martinez Jr. clear to the bottom. Van Dronen blocks all the way almost to the wall to prevent Nicholas Martinez Jr. from getting to his inside. That sends Martinez up the track right in front of Juergensmeyer. And Martinez gets shuffled back to third. Payne Howell makes the move to go to the inside. But here comes Martinez going low, and Payne Howell going even lower to try to block. And Martinez is going to have the line, as we have Jordan Herring going around in the back. Almost saves it. Car goes around, and no caution. Surprisingly enough for the 72. You would have thought that with the preemptive cautions that have been called for Justin Rott and Adam Contreras, that would have definitely been a caution, since that's a car spinning on track, but nothing called. So I don't think Jordan Herring is going to be too happy with that, as I think that was the 23 of Straw Hacker getting into him. But currently, side by side for 9th spot is Henry Kaloff and Jacob Malone. Malone going to have the preferred line coming into turn 1. Kaloff giving him a lot of room. And they are still side by side for this spot. But I think the draft down the backstretch might help him out. But no, Malone with a better run. And Kaloff gives him the spot. Sean Rowe to the inside of Jonathan Juergensmeyer in that 0-0. Able to clear him just barely. And Polhemus gets shuffled back a little bit, as he did not get a good exit. He's going to have to slot in line right behind the 0-0. But now Polhemus looking to the outside of that 0-0. Gets a great drive through the center of the corner. He's going to be side by side, and he might get a good run coming out. And with the draft, he should be able to clear at 0-0 coming into turn 3, or be very close to it at least. Juergensmeyer tries to throw it in to get Polhemus to flinch. Doesn't seem to work, but now Quincy Stryker is stuck on the outside with Cole Denton looking to his inside. Sean Rowe up front looking to the inside of Nicholas Martinez Jr. for the 3rd spot. Martinez charges into the corner to try to get ahead of the 99, but he's still there. And now Martinez trying to power by on the outside to retain the 3rd spot. He might get it, but side draft coming from the 99, pulling them both back. And now Sean Rowe having the preferred line coming into turn 3. Martinez had to back off, or else he'd shred his tires too much. And he might be able to slot in right behind him in front of Polhemus if he can do it. Polhemus looking to the inside of the 48. Not able to get it done. Cole Denton looks to the inside of the 23 of Straw Hacker down the front stretch coming into turn 1. Almost able to get the move done. Straw Hacker with a resurgent on the outside line. Ooh, Denton just barely able to clear. But further up front, Polhemus, we saw Polhemus looking to the outside of Nicholas Martinez Jr. And he gets a great run through the center. I think that 48 car is having trouble in the center of the corner, and Quincy Stryker is blocking Jacob Malone almost halfway to the wall, and not really gaining anything from it. And so an interesting strategy from that 23. But the field laps Jordan Herring, who was in a pretty good position just on that last restart, then gets turned and no caution comes out for it, surprisingly. But Martinez hits the wall. That's gonna hurt some of his momentum down the front stretch as Polhemus gets closer and closer. Jonathan Juergensmeyer working around the 72 of Herring. Herring might have a better run out of the corner. Gets a little loose. And now Jacob Malone looks at the inside of Cole Denton. Cole Denton boxed in behind the 72 and has the 67 on his inside, 3 wide into turn 3. Herring going as high as he possibly can go, and Denton powering by on the outside. Big slide from the 48. able to save it. Good save, but he's going to lose 2 spots to Polhemus and Juergensmeyer. But now Jacob Malone looking to the inside of Cole Denton, not able to stick his nose in there just yet. But Denton slaps the wall a little bit. Will Malone use this momentum change to get to the inside? Yes, he will. He'll move to the inside of Cole Denton for 7th place. But Denton able to really get the power down in the center of the corner to keep it on the outside. It looks like Malone still side by side down the front straight. So he's gonna have a good position coming into turn 1. As Striker very, very sideways back there. Able to save it. Oh, yep. Comes up the track, noses it into the wall. And the caution is out here at Motegi once more. And believe it or not, I think that puts Joseph Lewis in the lucky dog spot, because yes, when Jordan Herring spun, he went into pit lane, and he lost another lap doing that. So Joseph Lewis, after flipping on lap 1, is going to be back on the lead lap most likely when the green flag drops next time by. But I haven't really shown the leader because it's been the Van Drummond show ever since he took the lead. He has been working this field over right now. But, I mean, nothing really to show on the replay. Because we saw it happen in real time. We saw Striker get loose and then come back up the track. But everyone pulling down pit lane right now. Even Jordan Herring, who you would think would stay out to get the wave around to get one of his laps back. At least that's what you would think would happen. Henry Kaloff stays out to lead another lap. So yeah, everyone in pit lane. Unsurprisingly, Van Drummond comes out in front of Peyton and Howell. And I mean, these two have pretty much been the 2 cars to beat. But it's really been Van Drummond's been the car to beat. But it's really it's been the just the battle for third on back for most of this race. As Peyton Howell and Van Drummond have consistently just pulled away through these longer runs. But pace car lights should be going off this time by, as Henry Kaloff does stay out. He's on 13 lap older tires than everyone else, or everyone who has went down pit lane. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but at a track this hot and you have to turn so much, Henry Kaloff's tires are probably a lot more considerably worn than the rest of this field. But Henry Kaloff choosing the inside, he is going to lead the field. Back to the green flag, as this gives me a good opportunity to change to laps to go here. 47 laps to go here at Mobility Resort Motegi in the SRL Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series. And if I'm Peyton Howell, my number 1 course of action is to keep Van Drummond on the outside, even if it means you have to go 3 wide middle. As long as you have Van Drummond on your outside, it's going to be tough to make a pass if you're on equal tires. It's all going to be up to how well Henry Caloff restarts. Base car is in, and green flag is out. A good start for Caloff, and Drummond definitely took it easy. Peyton Howell able to get to the inside, and he might get to the inside of Caloff coming into turn 1. Caloff running the middle as Peyton Howell all the way on the inside. Van Drummond stuck behind Caloff on the outside, and Caloff is able to stay in front for the first 2 corners, but now he's definitely going to get swamped by the field as Van Drummond has to check up a lot to not run to the back of Peyton Howell. He's going to go way high. Whoa, Nicholas Martinez Jr. try to make something happen in that space. Howell scrapes the wall. Drummond goes sideways. He saves the car, but he's going to plummet through the field. And now Sean Rowe to the inside line, 4 wide back there between Denton, Juergensmeyer, Bohemus, and Malone. They've come to their senses and gone back down to 2 wide, but that was crazy for a second. Sean Rowe looking to the inside of Henry Caloff for that second spot, showing the difference 10 laps can make on tires, as Martinez is going to try to follow Sean Rowe through on the inside line. And Martinez is going to have the preferred line entering turn 1. Overshoots the corner a little bit. Here comes Malone. Almost made it 3 wide, but thought better of it. And Martinez is going to be able to clear the 63, but now Malone will have to get around Henry Caloff as they are side by side for the 7th spot right now between Juergensmeyer and Denton, but eyes are on Jacob Malone. I keep thinking Justin Malone for some reason. But Jacob Malone in that 67, not able to get around the 63, now under attack from the 79 of Bohemus, wrangling that thing on the outside. And if he gets a good run, he might be able to make a move. He might be able to complete the move on Malone, and he does. Gets a great run, and he might get a 2-for-1 offer right here on Caloff as he dives to the inside and is able to get around the 63 without much hassle. 3 wide for 6th place as Caloff got a little loose on the outside and a little bit of contact with Denton, but Denton's able to get past Malone and Caloff down the front stretch as those tires are really starting to wear in for that 63 car. But Nicholas Martinez Jr. is fast approaching the 99 of Sean Rowe. Will he try to make a move into the corner? Much higher line for that 48. As you see in the back, Jacob Malone trying to get around the 63, and he's going to be able to complete that with help from the draft down the front stretch. But Martinez, will he try to make a bold move into turn 1? Looks like that won't be happening, but Bohemus is the one that makes the bold move on Martinez. Bohemus snuck the car right to the inside and prevented Martinez from cutting down the track side by side for position number 3. But Martinez drives it much harder into the corner, but he overshoots the corner, and he's definitely going to lose the spot to Bohemus. Or will he, as he has the drive off the corner, and he's going to have the draft too. He's side drafting that 79 to keep him side by side, but I think Bohemus is going to have it here. And yes, Bohemus slides up right in front of Martinez. Denton and Martinez make a little bit of contact for 4th spot, but that's going to allow Martinez to get around Bohemus, as Bohemus has a little bit of a bad wiggle. So Bohemus inevitably is the big loser in all of this as he drops to the back of this little grouping of cars right here. Exciting racing here at Motegi after the restart. Big slide from Sean Rowe in 2nd place. Juergensmeyer gets past Bohemus, so Bohemus has dropped all the way back from about 3rd to 7th. But now Cole Denton trying to manufacture something on Nicholas Martinez Jr. as further back Bohemus gets around Juergensmeyer. But Nicholas Martinez Jr. has definitely caught some time up to the 99 of Sean Rowe. But he has Cole Denton filling up his mirror to worry about. Denton looking to the inside down the front stretch of the 48. He's gonna have the move made into turn 1, sends it in deep, but Martinez fights back on the outside, trying to get that good run that a lot of people have been getting through the middle of 1 and 2 to transfer that energy down the backstretch. Will Cole Denton use the side draft to keep him side by side down the backstretch? Not able to get close enough, but he's still not clear. Denton to the inside, trying to get a little bit more even with the 48, because that 48 has been really ripping that middle. A little bit of a wiggle from the 48, going to kill his momentum down the front stretch, and that's going to allow Cole Denton to get a lot closer. But Jacob Malone giving the 48 a helpful shove. Now Cole Denton is ahead as turn 1 becomes turn 2, but that momentum on the high side is still powerful for that 48. Will the side draft come into effect this lap? Looks like it won't. And Martinez is able to successfully hold off the 46, but now Cole Denton now tries the outside, trying to beat the master at his own game, but Martinez moves up in front of Cole Denton, and Denton slaps the wall pretty hard. Now Barrett Bohemus looking the inside of the 67 of Malone. Malone shuts the door firmly right in front of him, and Bohemus just gets right back to him. Malone just a little wiggle out of the corner, and now Bohemus is going to easily get by him. But I think that hit from the 46 to the wall might be slowing him down a little bit, might have given him some extra damage. But Nicholas Martinez Jr. is right back to being all over the back end of Sean Rowe. As farther in the back, Van Drummond is trying to mount his charge back through the field. He's currently stuck behind Henry Kaloff at the moment, who I'd wager they're on about equal tires after that big slide from Van Drummond. As Drummond looks to the inside of the 63, gonna have it coming into turn 3. And he might get a 2-for-1 right here if he can get past Juergensmeyer too. Yes, he's able to get past Juergensmeyer and Kaloff in one fell swoop. And looking to work on the 23 of Strawhacker further up the field. Sean Rowe has had a mirror full of Nicholas Martinez Jr. Currently has been able to hold him off pretty well, as Peyton Howell is in a very good spot right now. He's currently about 2.3 seconds ahead of Van Drummond. Good corner from the 43 as Strawhacker is blocking Van Drummond all the way to the bottom for 7th spot. Strawhacker does not want to give the position up. I don't think you really want to be playing with Van Drummond when he's in go mode right now. But Strawhacker maintaining side by side with Van Drummond. This slowing both drivers up, as Strawhacker is doing his all to protect 7th place from the 2 car, but Drummond is going to have the speed to get past him on the inside. 32 laps to go to see if Van Drummond can catch up under green flag conditions, but he might need a caution to make some magic happen. Further up through the field, it has mostly dispersed. Closest battle right now being between Barrett Bohemus, Cole Denton, and Jacob Malone. Each driver separated by about a 10th, but Sean Rowe has caught up a lot on the 52 of Peyton Howell. All of these cars within about half a second of each other. These top three cars about half a second within each other. But Payne Howell got a really good entry into turn 1 compared to Sean Rowe and Nicholas Martinez Jr. as I think Cole Denton got loose on corner exit, and that allowed Barrett Polhemus to get by. So now Barrett Polhemus is up to the 4th spot, and Van Drummond is now 1.5 seconds behind. Malone goes way to the bottom. I think Cole Denton's handling is starting to go, but now Van Drummond is stuck in a box right now, as they are all sorts of close for the lead. Payne Howell clogging up the bottom line as Sean Rowe looking to make a move for the lead, not able to get a run down the backstretch, and he has a very hungry Nicholas Martinez Jr. right behind him. I think Payne Howell might be in like a hyper tire savings mode, because he's really slowing up in the corners. And here comes Sean Rowe looking to the inside. Howell shuts the door. He's on the apron a little bit. Yeah, he's definitely just trying to use as little wheel as possible and letting the brake turn the car, which is good for tire saving, but it's also pretty slow. Once the tires start to wear in, about 20 laps on these tires for most of the drivers. As Van Drummond to the inside of Jacob Malone for the 6th spot. He might have it if he can stay side by side into turn 1, but that draft on the outside is very strong. Sean Rowe trying to get past Howell, looking to his outside, tries to cut down for the run off the corner, not able to make it happen. But I think with this, Sean Rowe is going to have a good run coming into turn 3, but he's just not close enough. Yeah, Howell is really backing up these corners. And Denton goes high in the corner, and that allows Van Drummond pass. Sean Rowe to the outside, but now to the inside of Payton Howell. Great move by Sean Rowe to get to the inside of Howell. Now Howell will have to try to fight back for the 1st spot, and Sean Rowe is gonna be clear of Howell. So now put Sean Rowe in the lead of this race with 27 laps remaining here. I think Nicholas Martinez Jr. struck the wall a little bit, and here comes Van Drummond to the inside. Martinez having to let up a little bit, but he's going to have a run off the corner, and he's gonna have a lot of help too. So 26 laps to go here, as Martinez is still side by side with Van Drummond, but Drummond's going to have a better corner center, and he's going to be able to clear the 48 coming out of the corner. And will Martinez be able to clear Polhemus just barely? And I thought Martinez was going to really send it into the corner on the inside of Drummond, but it looks like he just did not. He was just not close enough to do so. But now Polhemus with a good run out of the corner, and now Nicholas Martinez Jr. drops back to 5th spot. And now your leader is Sean Rowe, and the field behind him is now tasked with trying to catch up to him. Payton Howell in 2nd place, definitely falling off compared to Sean Rowe. Side by side with Payton Howell and Van Drummond. Howell's going to have a good run off the corner, and no air games in play for the 99 right now. Howell chops off the nose of Van Drummond, going to block that inside line, but Drummond chooses to choose the high road, and great battling for 2nd place right now. And this is what Sean Rowe wants to see. He wants to see everyone behind him battling and slowing each other up, but what he does not want to see is a caution coming out. Drummond running a little bit higher up. Oh, he gets really loose into Polhemus, as Polhemus is not going to be happy about that. But I think Drummond tried to throttle it up on the outside to get a run, and that car just started sliding on him, and that's some heavy damage to the side of Polhemus, and that essentially took him out of the running for this win pretty much. Definitely got on the gas a little bit too much, or something happened to get that car loose, but that puts Nicholas Martinez Jr. up into the third spot, as he now has to defend from the 67 of Jacob Malone. But it is currently the Sean Rowe show right now, and what a good season this is turning out to be for him thus far. Does extremely well the first couple of races. I believe he won at Vegas, and then follows it up with a second place at Portland as Martinez scrapes the wall a little bit. Here comes Jacob Malone to the inside for the third spot, and is now following up with leading laps here at Motegi, as Malone gets around the 48, but the crossover coming from Martinez, it might just work out, as Martinez is still on the inside of the 67, trying to pull him back a little bit. But I tell you what, Peyton Howell is getting all over the back end of Sean Rowe, coming to 20 laps to go. Martinez runs Malone a little bit high. Martinez right now going to keep the spot, but not by much across the line, as they battle for position back there. But Payne Howell and Sean Rowe currently have about a half a second cushion over this group of 4 cars. Payne Howell looking to make a move. He's had several strong runs throughout the season, but I don't believe that he's scored a win just yet. Most of those strong runs have failed to materialize later in the race, as Van Drummond easily gets past Jacob Malone into turn 1. So time is taking for the driver of that 2 car. Because if I was Sean Rowe, I would just be trying to save as much as possible for when a faster car pulls up. You could at least be even with them on the inside line and make it hard to pass. Big slide from the 52. Scrapes the wall a little bit, but nothing to kill his momentum. 18 laps to go here at Motegi, and what's proven to be a great race despite the small amount of cars running. Payne Howell trying anything that he can to mount a run on the 99, as Drummond looks to the inside of the 48. Martinez is able to fend him off for the time being. Both Payne Howell and Martinez running a little high at the exit. Here comes Van Drummond to the inside of Martinez coming into turn 1. Martinez lets him have it. And now Van Drummond is in the 3rd spot. And I tell you what, Van Drummond's about 2/10 faster than Sean Rowe and Payne Howell right now. Drummond to the outside of Howell. And how did he make that stick? He's gonna have the run down the front stretch, and he made an outside move work on that 52 car. Drummond goes into 2nd place, and he might be able to get past Sean Rowe in these next 15 and a half laps. It seems like Payne Howell is starting to fall off in terms of tire wear, and Nicholas Martinez Jr. is as well. So it is really going to be up to if Van Drummond can get around the 99 because he's definitely getting up to the bumper of Sean Rowe with 15 laps to go here. As these drivers have been racing each other pretty hard, wearing out their stuff, so I'd wager that with Drummond's slide and his contact with Pohemus, they're on about equal tire wears, I'd presume. At least Sean Rowe and Van Drummond are. Not too sure about Peyton Howell. But Sean Rowe doing his best to maintain this lead here. But Van Drummond is very consistent when he's tailing someone. And he's getting right up to the back end of Sean Rowe. 0.15 seconds separates the 99 and the 2. And yeah, Peyton Howell starting to very slowly fade to the back, half a second between him and Van Drummond. 13 laps to go here. As when is the right time to make a move is probably in Van Drummond's head right now, because you want to have enough time to set up the move and make it work to get past Sean Rowe, but you also don't want to give Sean Rowe enough time to get you back in a potential desperation move. But Van Drummond and Sean Rowe making this a very exciting battle for the win. 12 laps to go as the main pack of Sean Rowe, Van Drummond, Peyton Howell, Nicholas Martinez Jr., Jacob Malone, and Aldon Contreras have really separated pretty far from Barrett Pohemus. Pohemus is about 2 seconds back from the rest of the field. And Drummond I think that he thought about poking it to the inside, but thought better of it as he wasn't there yet. And Peyton Howell has stayed about the same distance, about 3 to 4 tenths back. But Drummond has to come up with something quick as time is starting to run out on him. Makes me wonder if Sean Rowe is playing this just a little bit safe, just parking it on the inside to preserve those tires a little bit, because surely Van Drummond, with all the pushing that he had to do to get from the front to the back to the front, would have worn out his stuff. As we are coming to 9 to go here, under 10 laps to go. Good exit of the corner for Peyton Howell as Nicholas Martinez Jr. starting to fall off over a second between Martinez and Howell, so he's going to be out of the question. It's really going to be between these top 3 drivers here if Howell can catch up. But he's very slowly losing out down the front stretch. But here comes Drummond looking to the outside, looking to run that middle lane. And he's going to have a good exit. Will he try to move to the inside? Sean Rowe blocks down there. And Drummond to the outside. Rowe with a very shallow line entering turn 1. You're going to be side by side for the lead. Drummond with a good corner exit. Rowe will certainly try to side draft him to get him back about even entering the corner, but Rowe not able to do so. Drummond with the definite advantage lengthwise, but here comes Rowe on the inside. A little bit of a slide from the 2 car. They are side by side across the line, coming to 7 laps to go. little bit of a slide on the outside from Van Drummond. Drummond drives it in hard on the outside, and he's going to be able to clear Sean Rowe. 7 laps to go. Back to the lead goes Van Drummond in that number 2 car. What a drive he's having. Back from pretty much last on the lead lap to the lead. And able to pull right now about 3/10 on Sean Rowe. So now the clock is ticking for Sean Rowe to find a way around Drummond, because I don't know how you can defend against him. It is just insanely difficult to try and defend against that. And yeah, Drummond is now pulling away from Sean Rowe. So 6 laps to go, coming to 5 to go. Big high five in the air from the flagman as the battle has really simmered down. Van Drummond to about a 7/10 of a second lead now over Peyton Howell. And maybe Sean Rowe burnt up his stuff trying to keep the 2 car at bay, as he is really starting to fall back. And now Peyton Howell is within striking distance if he can put together a good couple of corners. But what a race this has turned out to be, even if, we probably won't have a crazy photo finish. What a drive it's been for the 2 car. Because normally if you spin the tires like that, like what he did when he slid, it would be really tough to get them cooled back down and not wear them out even further. But Van Drummond has done a great job of doing so. 3 laps to go here at Motegi. 4.5 miles left for Van Drummond to navigate. Further back through the field, Jacob Malone is working on Peyton Howell, as Peyton Howell is really starting to slide backwards for the 3rd spot. This is for the last podium position. Whoever wins this battle is going to be interviewing me. And it looks like, Peyton Howell is definitely losing a lot of speed. I don't know if he hit the wall and knocked out his toe or something, but yeah, he is definitely losing a lot of speed. Martinez is able to get around him. I think he might have knocked out the toe on that 52 car. As he is very, very slow, about a second off of our race leader, who is currently running 3/10 of a second faster. Coming to the white flag here at Motegi for the white number 2 of Van Drummond. All he has to do is get through 2 corners cleanly. Nothing the field does will cause the caution to come out. White flag is displayed, so just 2 more corners for Van Drummond. And that damaged left side of that number 2 through turns 3 and 4. Off of turn 4, he can see the checkered flag in front of him. Van Drummond wins at Mobility Resort Motegi in the SRL Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series. A great drive from that 2 car and a great race to the finish that we had here. So let me go through our finishing order real quick. In first is Van Drummond, and coming home runner-up is the number 99 of Sean Rowe. In third, in his first start, is number 67 of Jacob Malone. In fourth, a strong run from that 48 is Nicholas Martinez Jr. Slid all the way back down to fifth is the 52 of Peyton Howell after getting steering damage from hitting the wall. Unfortunate for that 52 car. Barrett Volhemus in the 79 finishes in sixth after contact with Van Drummond. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in seventh, and Quincy Strawhacker, the last car on the lead lap. Cole Denton falls back down to ninth, one lap down, and Henry Kaloff is in 10th. First driver outside the top 10 is Joseph Lewis in the number 28 after flipping on the first lap. Comes home 11th, not too bad. Tyler Curley in 12th. And the last driver running in 13th is the number 92 of Adam Contreras. After that, first car to not finish the race is Jordan Herring, followed by Justin Rott, Trevor Huff, James Bomar, Joey Beck, Connor Zola, Ben T. Pierce, Caleb McKinney, Bladen Edwards, Alex Schumacher, and James Thurston. So now that is out of the way, we will be going to standby for just 1 second while I get interview set up. Okay, we are back from standby, and now that I have everything set up, we can get our winner of this race. Mr. Van Drummond coming home in first place, winning here at Motegi. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you had an insane drive on that last run. What happened throughout that run? Because I saw you get really loose. You slid the tires a bunch, and I thought, oh, it's over for you. You know, you cooked the tires. They're all heated up, and it's gonna be really difficult to pass. And then you got into, and then you and Bohemus had contact, and that sent you back even more. I'm like, I'm sure he's done, and you end up winning the whole dang thing. What happened on those last 40 laps?
Well, first off, happy Father's Day. I won this for my dad. He's proud of me. But secondly, let me tell you what happened there. I mean, every time I got wide and dirty air like that, I put so much will into it. Once the throttle started, you start the feedback throttle, and it just snapped. I mean, both times, like, I kind of just had nothing, like, no grip at all. I kind of just snapped on me. And, it's my fault, right? It's my fault. No one else but me. But, I mean, I remember this race last year. I had by far the best car, by far the most speed, and I didn't win it, right? This year I felt more the same, right? When I was behind Peyton at the very beginning, I couldn't get past him, but I was always right there. I was right there, but then when I got in front of him, I just drove away. So I'm just proud of myself with the speed I was able to bring. It's just because, now that everything's so tight, it's way closer than it was before the update, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can get that raw speed and kind of just have like a leg up on the rest of the field, I mean, it's just crucial. I mean, absolutely crucial. But what I did was, after that, I was like, all right, well, now that I have a big old draft, I'm just gonna start saving. What I did, I had enough for a small burnout, but I crossed the line with 0.2 laps of fuel in the tank. So I need to take a breather, man. That was stressful. I was stressful, man. But I won. I don't gotta worry about it. I'm telling you, my superstition is I cannot VC before in a race. I never win those, but I decided not to VC today and won the race. But I think that's got to go down as the greatest comeback drive in SRL history. I mean, spun out twice, had to deal with two cars in extreme dirty air with Peyton got around him on the outside and got Sean on the outside. So I'm just let's go another 125. Come on, that was fun. I had a good time.
You certainly earned that win, and you had a good run at Portland last week, despite your complaints with the halfway caution system, which is completely understandable. This is some good momentum building up again in your favor for the rest of the season heading into the chase. How you feeling on your season performance so far, and you think you have a good shot at making it into the chase?
Well, I got to make the chase first, but assuming I make it, because it's looking that way, y'all boys better be ready. Also, second, I would like to comment on my car and why my car was a bit blanker than normal. That's what my Legend car looks like. So if you and anyone in the broadcast was wondering, that's my explanation. I'm not sure if you were wondering, but
I did think it looked a little different than the black and green car that we had at Portland, but it's still a nice looking car. But before we let you go and celebrate your tremendous win, do you have any people or sponsors you want to thank?
I'll thank the Lord himself. The two logos on my car, Cutting Edge and Capital Electric, they sponsor my racing and they make everything a lot easier on me. But everything else, thank you for the Trevor Huff and EPI for making the setup. The setup was a little sketchy, but I think I enjoyed it. It's a good fixed setup. It's not the best open speed setup, but I liked it. I enjoyed it, and let's re-rack them and go to. We are going to Chicagoland. That will be fun. That was a great race last year.
That's the number 2 of Van Drummond coming home in first place, winning here at Motegi. We will see you next week at Chicagoland.
See you, bro.
Okay, and now that is out of the way, we will go to our second place driver in just a second. If I can get him into the booth. Coming home in second place, it's the number 99 of Sean Rowe. Do you have a copy?
Yes, I do.
So you led a good portion of those last 20 out of 30 laps. Did Van Drummond just power by? Did he have something that your car didn't have in that last run?
Yeah. It was a fuel game at the end, and he saved better than me. I could have probably pushed it, but I would have ran out, and at that point I was looking at the Dash for Cash money, and that's really why I took the lead. And then it was like I barely made it on fuel. I ran out coming to the line, so he just had a little bit more than me. I don't know if I would have been able to fight him off because he was probably the fastest out of everybody there. And I was kind of surprised I even led laps this race. I was pretty tight and pretty bad for my standards at least. And I just need to save a little more fuel there, and maybe I could have had something, but P2's not bad.
So, what was your plan for the entire race? Because I believe you started around 4th or something. So were you just hoping to just maintain that speed, or did you have a certain plan to try and win the whole thing, and it just ended up coming a little bit short?
So my plan going in was I knew I needed to beat Peyton. He was the fastest out of all the Dash for Cash guys. So the plan was do whatever I can do to be ahead of him, and then if I win the race, I win the race, which almost came true. But I was gonna split it into each stint and a half with the stage yellow in the middle of the race. But then I got a yellow that trapped me a lap down and kind of shook everything up. And then I got lucky, got a little bit of track position on the restarts, and then we got in that really tight fuel window. And since then, I was like, I'm going to push, hope for a yellow. And I noticed the yellow wasn't going to come out pretty late into that run, and I started fuel saving. But I'm kind of lucky it didn't work out too bad for me. The win would have been nice, but I'll take the money as well. That comes with the Dash for Cash. But, it's just really, picking my battles and making my way to the finish.
Well, sometimes picking your battles is what leads you to a championship. And speaking of championships, you've had some great momentum. I believe this is 2 second place finishes. Uh, for Portland and Motegi. So this is some seriously good momentum for your season right now. Do you have, before we let you go and celebrate your second place finish, do you have any people or sponsors you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank Zach Todriff, Race EPI. That's a new one. Race EPI, official EPI driver now. So amazing team there, and want to thank Jacob Wilkerson for spotting me, all my teammates, and thank you guys for putting up these streams. Want to thank Shuey for the league. You know, fun race around.
That's coming from the number 99 of Sean Rowe, coming home in second place after a long fought race here at Motegi. We'll see you next week at Chicagoland.
See ya.
Okay. And with that, we just got to have one more driver. Third place here. The number is 67 of Jacob Malone. Let me see if I can get him into the broadcast booth real quick. Number 67, Jacob Malone. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Coming home in third place. A very strong debut run. At least I'm pretty sure it's your debut here in the SRL Snowman Studios Motorsports Designs Cup Series. I do want to ask, though, what happened on the start? Because on the start, the car pitched sideways and caused a big stack up.
Well, I was just doing what Van was doing. He went to first, and I tried to copy it. Apparently, I have less talent than him, so I spun the tires pretty bad. Took out some good drivers. Completely my fault entirely. I'm still getting used to the new tire update and the new track temps. First time I ever ran that track. I bought it today, so I got some excuses, but that is completely on my end. I'm sorry.
Well, I'd say for your first time driving this track, you did a pretty doggone good job. What was your plan following that for the rest of the race? Because if you had a plan, it obviously worked out to get you all the way up to third place.
To just not do the same thing again. That was the plan. I'm gonna be straightforward. I was just trying to keep the car safe, keep it away from other people, and I had some speed with it, so I was able to get around people that were making mistakes here and there, not saving fuel properly. So it was just moving through the field and avoiding carnage.
Well, judging by how your car looks pretty clean, by the end of the race, I'd say you accomplished your plan with flying colors. So before we let you go and celebrate your third place finish, do you have any people or sponsors you want to thank before we let you go?
Nah, I just show up.
Fair enough, short and sweet, just the way he likes it. That's the number 67 of Jacob Malone coming home in third place. Will we see you next week at Chicagoland?
Most likely.
Alrighty,
it'll
see
be
you
fun.
then. You have a good rest of your night, Mr. Malone.
You too.
Okay, and now that interview is over and done with, I can switch the camera to Scenic, and we can close out this broadcast. My name is Garrett Hess. You're watching Fireball Talks NASCAR, and thank you for tuning in to the SRL Snowman Studios Motorsports Design Cup Series here at Mobility Resort Motegi. Big thank you to Andrew Schulte and the people at SKS Graphics for their help and technical help with the tickers. I hope every one of you has a great rest of your night, and we will see you next week right around the same time for the race number 6 at Chicago.